What's going on, guys? It's Chad. Rumor, Call of Duty 2025 is set to follow a similar format to that of Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty 2025 will reportedly be a follow-up / continuation of Treyarch's Call of Duty 2024, and will reportedly include Black Ops 2 remastered map. Looking at the article, additionally, MW2 Ghost, another reputable leaker, mentioned that they heard similar that Black Ops 2 maps were in the remaster pipeline. So it would follow what Sledgehammer Games are doing with this year's MW3, including all 12 original maps from MW2. Keep in mind that this decision could undergo changes throughout development, potentially depending on the reception of Modern Warfare 2's remastered maps in Modern Warfare 3. Very true. Also, again, this still leans into the fact that, like, it's so crazy that there are people that actually deny that they were planning on doing the 2-year cycle, when now you're seeing multiple years in advance that they are still structuring their DLC and shit as a 2-year plan. There are some people that straight up still deny the fact that they were planning on doing a 2-year cycle, and then MW2 kind of started flopping with the player numbers. The sales were great for them, but yeah, it started flopping overall because of all the changes and stuff that they made with the game. So that update that was supposed to come out like an expansion as opposed to a whole new game, it still technically had the same amount of content as a quote premium release. It was going to be marketed differently. That's what it was before. That's the truth. This just proves it even more. They were actually planning on doing like a 2-year thing, it seems like multiple times in a row. It does really depend on how people, receive this though. Just like Charlie Intel was saying. They probably have a backup plan the same way that they did before. They lean into what they think is going to be most likely, and then they just try to like plan ahead for there. Then they try to do a backup plan. I'm not even saying this like it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, point to the fact that they planned on structuring everything this way. I'm not even like complaining about it either. I think I'm genuinely gonna like Modern Warfare 3. I've been talking all good about Modern Warfare 3. I genuinely haven't heard anything that makes me go, uh-oh, people aren't gonna like that. There's nothing that I've heard that is anything even close to how miserable this experience has been on Modern Warfare 2. And even then, with the current changes, MW2 is really not that bad. It's just, a lot of people got burned by it. Its reputation is in the garbage, so it doesn't really matter how good it gets. It's just kind of how it goes. You have to wait until it's basically no longer the main focus anymore for people to, like, genuinely look at it for what it is without, like, the emotions and shit. Like, I've been seeing people come back around to No Man's Sky. That's a game that everybody absolutely shit all over for so long because it was genuinely not a good release. But the game improved over time. They made changes that absolutely made the game better, and now the game's starting to make a comeback. I think a similar thing kind of happens to Call of Duty games, just on a much smaller scale, because No Man's Sky is genuinely a much better game than it used to be. These Call of Duties, they don't care if they're even good. These Call of Duty games, they don't really care if it does well anymore after a certain point, because, I mean, they already made their money. But if they're doing, like, remastered Black Ops 2 maps, sorry, I had to get that team kill back. So coming up on Modern Warfare 3, we know that we have a bunch of Modern Warfare 2 remastered maps coming. And that's not just a rumor. There's been, images and things like that that have come out. It's virtually confirmed. They don't need to say it themselves. They don't need to announce it themselves. And I mean, it's only a matter of time until Call of Duty Next as well, with the beta and everything as well. So they really have no reason to keep it under wraps much longer. So all of that stuff will be confirmed. We know that the Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2 maps generally were pretty good maps. We do know that there's going to be a little bit of changes to maps, like, doors in certain areas, but generally the layout of them, from what I know, is they're pretty much 1-to-1 plus some doors. In terms of door amounts, I'm gonna assume it's probably similar to the amount of doors that are in Modern Warfare 2. It's not Modern Warfare 2019 doors where they were literally everywhere. They are tastefully spread out. But if we look at the Black Ops 2 maps that we could potentially be playing in 2025, assuming the 2024 game is even good, I mean, imagine that though. Imagine the 2024 Treyarch game is incredibly good. Feels great, sounds great, looks great. People love watching it and hearing about it. Somehow it helps Warzone and all that stuff as well. Instead of it being the case where, like, everybody's hating first iteration of, like, this whole, like, 2-part project thing, the second year we'll add that, like, extension to it as a full premium release. So MW3 will be a fixed version of Modern Warfare 2. What if this new Black Ops game is actually good off rip and everybody's enjoying it, and then the year 2 might not change that much? Or they could do a very Activision thing where the first year is amazing and then the second year's expansion is dog shit and they make unnecessary changes. That could be a possibility, but surely they're not that stupid. And again, you saw exactly what they did with Warzone 1 to Warzone 2. So you go from one of the top games across all media to just kind of in the mix now. We've had remastered maps like this before in other games and the other, Black Ops, stuff like that. There's like 3-4 versions of Nuketown, all that stuff. You have to assume all that stuff is going to be there. It truly does depend how this game does. If people receive Modern Warfare 3's layout in general general positively, I think they'll go forward with this kind of thing. But it is definitely, you know, it's a little bit out and they could absolutely pivot. That doesn't mean that the rumor is false, by the way, guys. Use some critical thinking skills here, because some people like to sit around and act like when people say things in that moment, it's not possible for them to change. And I understand that people can just lie about something and be like, oh, well, it just, you know, they changed it. But you can literally visually see and just think critically about how and why things are structured the way that they are. They point to the fact that that was the case at one point. Remaking Hijacked. Hijacked, I always enjoyed Hijacked, given I didn't necessarily go for camos a crazy amount on this game. Like, I pretty much exclusively sniped. I mean, I have a few thousand kills with, you know, MSMC and M8 and all that stuff, but past that, it was definitely like Ballista and DSR everywhere. Standoff is a great map. I enjoy this map. It's very good. Raid is one that everybody looks forward to. They enjoy Raid. I think that'll be good. Nuketown is a classic. Slums is pretty good. Overflow, Takeoff, I'm pretty sure, isn't that DLC? Also, Yemen is also not good, I'll be honest. Aftermath, fuck that map. Cargo, fuck that map. Carrier, it's weird because like some of the maps are good and bad depending on if you're trick-shotting or not. But trick-shotting at this point, it's done. There's no one like growing and evolving off of, you know, trick-shotting and shit like that. It's just no longer like a popular form of like content consumption. There's definitely still communities of trick-shotters out there that support each other, but it's no longer like a growing thing. It was just a part of the montage scene. It's not really growing anymore. I think some people are definitely still around for the content, but it's not like new people being drawn in by it. It's pretty much meme content at this point. Cove was actually a nice map. Overflow, Plaza was all right. Pod was, fuck Pod. Detour was okay. I remember Downhill was super unique. I wonder if they'll dip into like making the DLC one. Seems like they're willing to remake all of them, even if they were shit maps and they weren't popular at all. Encore, that was a weird map. Studio, this is a remake of Firing Range. I'm curious. Yeah, I actually, Black Ops 2 maps were crazy good now that I'm like looking at it. There's a couple stinkers in there, but man, the fact that you have Firing Range with Nuketown, with Standoff, I can play those 3 maps all day. Nothing else. Grind is in here as well. I mean, you gotta bring that back. Magma, Meltdown, Mirage. Meltdown actually wasn't that bad. But again, I'm just thinking of like, I have montage brain when I'm thinking back to these maps in the way that I call them good or bad. So, you know, it could definitely, and they definitely will play differently. The player base has shifted. The mentality of the players have shifted. Visibility and fidelity on their maps are way different. Weapons were less effective at distance back then. Now they're like, just beam people across the map completely. No thought process at all. What the fuck is my character doing? I think that this rumor is, first of all, I think it sounds true just because of the way that it's being done this time around. Now, if it goes badly, you know, I would definitely expect a shift. But for some reason, I just feel like the next 3 years, I don't think it'll go badly. I think a lot of people are looking forward to the next Black Ops game. Maybe Treyarch are, you know, more willing to listen. And the other thing as well, that year 2 content, will it be made by Treyarch again, or Sledgehammer and Treyarch gonna work together like how Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer are working together? It'll be interesting to see. I'd love to see what Sledgehammer can do with their flow and all that other shit with like the structure of Treyarch's shit. Sledgehammer is great at like refining other people's designs. I think the one downside that I know about Modern Warfare 3 is that combat pacing isn't coming back. I thought combat pacing was a good thing, personally. I enjoyed combat pacing. I pretty much played exclusively Blitz, and when I did it, it's only when I wanted to like slow down and just try to take things slow. People really underestimate the amount of low and speed, how much that affects the enjoyment of the game. If you feel like playing fast-paced matches, you can. If you feel like playing slow-paced matches, you can. And it doesn't need to be on a specific map for that to happen. You start associating certain maps with a certain speed as opposed to the amount of players that could just speed the game up. Given that does make, you know, map design a little bit more tough, but it's not like these maps weren't made with that in mind or it couldn't be adjusted. If they feel like one thing just doesn't play that well and the maps and spawns are all messed up and shit, reduce the amount of players on the map and you just go from there, just like they did with Vanguard. But then again, I could totally see how that could be very annoying to try to like get the spawns to all work together with shifting player counts and stuff like that. It could just be a little bit difficult, I imagine. I really hope the Mastery camo for Modern Warfare 3 is good. People can run around with Orion and stuff like that on their Modern Warfare 2 weapons, but I'm talking about, you know, unlocking the Mastery camo for all the Modern Warfare 3 stuff. I really hope it's actually good. Not a situation where we have to sit there and wait multiple months for them to actually speed up this thing multiple times for it to even be noticeable. Also, I wish some of the effects were a lot more than just, you know, an image just being scrolled. And anyway, let me know what you guys think about this rumor. I definitely believe the rumor, although it can definitely change, and I'm looking forward to Modern Warfare 3. So if we play that beta and they make us play Estate and Karachi or Estate and Derail, or I'm gonna lose my mind.